Steph Lee, the founder of Host Agency Reviews, and somehow you have landed on our Friday 15, where every Friday, 12 p.m. Central Time, we answer the questions that you have been wonderful enough to submit to us. And you've submitted them, in case you're wondering where, at hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15, which we will link to in the show notes. And today I have a wonderful guest who many of you will probably recognize, Jenn Lee from Travel Planners International.
Hello, Steph. Hello, everybody out there. Love doing these. I wish I could do a Friday 15 every single week. I've always had things on my mind.
It'd be way too much fun.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, the world would implode.
Correct.
So it's a good thing we only do it every once in a while, Jenn.
Correct.
A few quick things for all the listeners before we get into the questions that have come in this week. So first, we've mentioned this multiple times, but our call for speakers is open for Host Week. Those of you that have been to Host Week, you know it's full of great educational content, and we want to hear from you. Even if you've never spoken anywhere before, it is Jenn and I speak at a lot of events, and it is a wonderful way to build your career. It's a great skill to have. And Host Week is like the lowest. I don't want to say it's like the easiest way to ease into it because
it's virtual. So, you're not staring at a bunch of people, and it's interactive. You should definitely here's the thing, Steph, you're right. So many advisors have little snippets of, chunks of really good
info.
Right. And they always want to share. So Host Week's a great way. I listened to the whole week. And
some people,
as well.
Yeah, I talked to someone yesterday. We went out to breakfast, a new advisor, and she was like, I go back and listen to them sometimes again because they were so good. So if you are interested, we're going to drop the link in the show notes. It's also hostagencyreviews.com/speakers. It will close in a month, so you have plenty of time to get your ideas together. If you want to do a short panel or a panel, it's only 20 to 25 minutes long, so you can't do a big panel. But if you're a little nervous to do it yourself, get together some of your travel advisors' friends and brainstorm ideas. We'd love to hear them. And the last thing I want to mention is very soon our travel advisor reports, our annual travel advisor reports are going to be coming out. Mary and I are just working on editing the hosted advisor report. There's lots of juicy data in there, Jenn. You're going to love it. So keep an eye peeled for that. If you took the survey, you will automatically get emailed a free report to your email address. If you didn't take the survey, keep an eye out on the newsletter and we'll link to the report when it comes out.
Wonderful.
Yes. All right, Jenn, we've got a question from Shelly, and she is wondering, hi, I'm a newbie in the travel industry and I just started my business. I'm getting very close to choosing a host agency and I'm super excited to get started. I have a question about marketing on Facebook. Is it more beneficial to have a company page or to have a group or both? I know Facebook algorithms can be wonky, so I want to make sure I'm reaching a wide audience. Any advice you can give me is appreciated. Har has been monumental in me learning this exciting new business. Thanks, Shelly.
Way to go, Shelly, first off, for following all things Har. Secondly, I just want to point out my background. There's a bed behind me. So if you see a bed coming out of my head, I just figured we'd tell everybody about it. But I'm trying really hard.
If you're listening, it's worth switching over to video because we tried for 10 minutes, before she was trying turning on lights, moving, and she has literally a bed behind her attached to her head.
It's coming a bed in my head. So Shelly, let's get back to you because you're way more important than the bed in my head. So first off, I'm a huge believer in Facebook groups for today. The thing about a Facebook page, a business page that's still positive, is if you decide you want to start spending money on Facebook ads and driving traffic to your Facebook business page. If you want to be one of those ads that pops up in the feeds of your potential customer because you're paying money to do it, then you're going to have to keep a Facebook page, a business page. If you're saying, Jenn Lee, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I really just want to have a place for people to land where I can share my expertise, so on and so forth. A Facebook group is the best way to go. And I've actually got a webinar that I did not too long ago about how to launch and grow an effective Facebook group. So, Steph, can I send you that link and we can put it in there? And if anybody wants to just email me at jennl, jennl @tpionline.com, I'll send you a link to that. Actually, there's a couple webinars you can use together. But groups, people, it's almost as good as Googling at this point, Steph. There are people, if you love river cruising and you live in Houston, Texas, I'm making it up, you could launch a group that says River Cruise Enthusiasts from Houston, and
Yep.
people may actually Google something close to that. They might say Houston River Cruise Group, and your group will show up even on Google, because Facebook and Google get along really well and they use each other's algorithms. So a Facebook group, and I would say the biggest thing with that is to make sure you have clearly identified what the purpose of the group is, what your promise is to those that join the group, and that you're constantly posting and engaging, and all that information is in that webinar.
I would also say add a couple things to that. So one, know with the group that as your group grows, moderating takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Count on that. So don't be like, oh, I'm going to set up this group and boom, it's going to be a wonderful utopia. It will not be. And so Jen and I were just talking about this beforehand. And so the other thing to mention is it's a great place you could do it for your existing clients, like Jen said, for affinity groups, like empty nesters looking to find themselves for women or something. You could try that out. Or I know a lot of advisors will set up groups. If you're, say, doing destination weddings, they'll set up a group where they'll put all of the traveler and use that as a communication tool. But remember, not everybody is on Facebook. So if you're posting information in there, it needs to go out in other channels as well.
Absolutely. And if you've put together like an affinity group of some sort, and it's open to all consumers to book through, that's another reason to open up that Facebook group. It's an easy place for people to be able to share with others that may want to book into that group and join your affinity group. Lots of great, and Facebook pages, the business pages, unless you're spending money, they're not even seeing it.
Yeah. The one nice thing I will say for the Facebook page is if you don't have online reviews anywhere else, that's a place where they can go to get social proof on you. But if you're doing it through Google reviews or, the Knot, wherever else, as long as there's a place on your site you can link to that has user-generated reviews. And then the last thing I'm going to do is say that I'm going to link to a Travel Agent Chatter episode we did with an advisor that she sets up Facebook groups for her traveling groups that she goes on. So we'll link to that in the show notes as well.
Excellent.
All right. And Jen, when you send over that link, we'll put it in the comments for everybody. So next question, Tracy B. She is asking, looking for advice, what is the most useful way to find a travel advisor mentor?
Well, Tracy B, good for you for saying, you know what, I'd rather have somebody help me through this process than trying to figure it out all on your own. I think you have to start with defining what you want your mentor to help you with. Are you looking for a mentor that's going to help you in setting up your business, the processes, the flow, the workflow? Are you looking for a mentor that's going to help you with sales, marketing? Are you looking for a mentor to just, say, hey, listen, you're not alone. You're an entrepreneur. What are the challenges that you have? Let me see if I can help you with that. And let me share with you what I've done. So there's a couple of different places. One, ASTA is actually beta testing a mentor program right now. I happen to be a mentor for ASTA, and I have a mentee, and she's killing it. And we talk every 2 weeks. So that's through ASTA. Also at our host agency, and I bet your host agency, if you're with one, has this as well, a place for you to be able to reach out to maybe approved mentors within the agency. At TPI, we have a thing called Mentor Connection, and we have about 8 mentors that have been approved, and they charge on their own. It's not through TPI. We just give them a place to put their information. And, sometimes investing a little bit of money on someone who's just going to help you whip right through those processes from an advisor standpoint is the best way to go. And then in other cases, and this is big at travel planners as well, is advisors find themselves sometimes realizing, I launched this on my own. I'm with a host agency, but quite frankly, I really want to be part of a team. And so they reach out to us at the host agency and say, hey, I'd like to find an advisor who's got a team. I think I'm ready to be part of a team. And maybe you do that for 2 or 3 years, and then you're ready to pop out on your own. So there's a couple of different ways to find a good mentor, and just asking around.
Quick question on the ASTA program, because I know it's in beta. We'll link to it in the show notes. But does every mentor just have one mentee?
Yes.
That's nice.
As it stands right now, yes.
Okay.
So I think, Stephanie, there's only 10 mentors and 10 mentees, and we're beta testing it for it's a 6-month program. to see, how it works out. So everyone should be part of ASTA. First off, you can just going to their chapter meetings or the annual conference or the River Cruise Expo. You're going to be connecting with other advisors. And again, if you're part of a host agency, you probably have support right there at the host agency corporate office or within. Go to events, meet people
Yeah.
doing this. It's a relationship business. There's no competitors out there.
I love the organic approach. The Asta one is really nice. And another quick question on that, Jen, are there any spots open or are they all filled right now?
They're
The
all
10?
filled. Like I
Okay,
said,
that's
we're
what
in beta, so they're all filled.
okay. So I like the organic approach and going to those events. So I'm just going to share my screen really quick. If you're looking for a travel industry event, you can go to hostagencyreviews.com. On the homepage, go to on the drop down that you're looking for a travel event, and there's 100 plus different events in here that you can look for.
Mhm.
So check that out. It's a great way to meet people within the industry. It's where I find tons and tons of new people that are outside my normal circle. So I
Mhm.
would really encourage that. And we'll put a link to the event calendar as well in the show notes. The other thing is if you're going to events, because they can be super overwhelming if you don't prepare ahead of time. And so I'm going to also link to an article we wrote about how to make your travel conference count and some
Yeah,
things to think about beforehand.
love that.
And then the last thing I want to mention is there's a women's I think it's like a mentoring program. It's a business accelerator. So it's like mentoring.
Mhm.
Uh, and now I just realized I don't actually know how to say this. So it's WMNS, like women's,
Uh,
WMNS work, all one word. And they have a new cohort starting this fall, mid September. So I will put that in there. It's a business accelerated program for women that are in the tourism and travel industry. So,
yeah, it just
uh,
depends on where you are looking for mentorship. What part of your world?
mhm. And you
Professional?
know what? I have like multiple members or like mentors. So
Mhm.
I know you're very similar to me, Jen, when we have questions. Like, I have no problem being like, "Oh,
Mhm.
you're, like, the president of
Yeah.
General Mills. I'm gonna ask you a question about cakes." Like, I'm like, no problem with that. So,
Yeah.
I have multiple people I ask questions to. Don't be afraid to reach out. Not everybody will respond, but no harm in reaching
Yep.
out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Next question, last question is from Jazz V. So they ask, "Hello, I set up my business as a sole proprietorship to start, and I'm wondering now if I should have made it an LLC instead. I ask this because I don't know how hard it will be to change over to that later when I'm in full swing working with clients. Have you done this before? What can you offer for advice?"
So my answer to this is, first off, it's not hard to change
Mhm.
from what did she said, a sole proprietorship to LLC. It's paperwork and money, and maybe additional paperwork if you become an LLC. But most importantly, and really the only person you should be talking to about this is your accountant, whoever does your taxes, because the way you set up your business directly reflects how you file your income taxes as the majority. That's the big thing. It's how you file your
Mhm.
income taxes. What protections do you have, not have, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I'll say that I'm not familiar with every state,
Yeah,
but
and it's by state too. Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
by state, and so I will say the process was incredibly smooth here in Minnesota, and I imagine in most places it is. I would say the thing that was most irritating for me, I wouldn't even say it was hard, but was most irritating for me. So first of all, what I would recommend is getting your FEIN or federal employer identification number
Mhm.
when you're a sole proprietor, even though you technically don't need it and you can use your social security number. But I would get the FEIN. That way you don't have to change that out when you switch to an LLC. The other thing I would say, so the thing that was irritating to me was that I had to open a brand new bank account, which
Mhm.
means you had to, like, when you switch from a sole proprietor to an LLC, then you have to have a business bank account if you're an LLC. And
Mhm.
that was a hassle for me because then everybody that I paid through with that bank, I had to switch over to a new one. But not a big deal at all, Jazz. And I think it should be pretty easy. And if you're tuning in and have no idea what these business structures are, we'll link to our article on the different business structure types so you can get a feel for it.
I had a feeling you had an article you were going to be able to link to.
I was like, We have written a lot through the last like decade plus on
100% you have.
any question that comes in. It's like, oh, what a great today I was looking, I was like, oh, that's a great article topic. I might write one on that. I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Jen. So contact information if someone is looking to learn more information on Travel Planners International, or
Mhm.
if they want to chat you up, talk about the bed in your head.
Exactly. The bed in my head has got clean sheets, thankfully. So if you are interested in learning more about TPI as a host agency, I'm going to give you two resources. One, you can just go to travelplannersinternational.com, and there is a chat that'll come up, and our girl Tammy Roan, who takes great care of everyone who's interested, will be happy to hop on a call with you, Zoom, emails, what have you. That's number one. Number two, you're welcome. Some people like to just talk with me to begin with. So you're welcome to email me at jennl, jennl, at tpionline.com. But if you're not interested in talking about TPI and you just want to be around really cool people, join our Fiercely Forward Facebook group. It's a group that I launched in 2020 during the pandemic, and it's got advisors from all over the United States and Canada. It's all motivation. We ask each other questions. We don't talk about partners. Nobody's complaining about anything. It's just a positive place for you to go to help you continue to move fiercely forward in your business. So join me there.
Perfect. I'm going to put a link to all of that in the show notes so people can easily access it. And if you're wondering who is coming up on the upcoming Friday 15s, I have that for you. So let me take a look. Next week is going to be Lindsay Taylor Lauer from Travel Leaders 365.
Mhm.
Then September 1st, as we're falling into fall, we are going to be hearing with Keith Walden from Departure Lounge. And then September 8th, we are going to be having Uniglobe Travel Center. I'm not sure if they're co-hosting or just sponsoring, but they will be involved somehow on the September 8th one.
Excellent.
Yes. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, go ahead. You can sign up for email reminders. That'll give you the questions, who the co-host is going to be, and a link to join us. You can sign up for those e-reminders by going to hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15 or following the link in the show notes. So Jen, thank you for joining us today.
Always love it being with my sister from another Mr. and Mrs.
I know. And everybody else, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care, everybody.